Kevin Feige. Jacob Batalon. Yeah. Laura Harrier. We need a moment for Laura Harrier. How awesome is Jacob in this movie?
Thank you. No.
Yes, Jacob. You crushed it.
Okay.
You crushed it.
I'm crying.
All right,
Sorry.
Laura Harrier, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for the man, Michael Keaton. Give it up for the Spider-Man, Tom Holland. Ladies and gentlemen, the godfather of the Marvel Cinematic Universe himself, Robert Downey Jr. This is it. The beautiful, the lovely, the talented, the hottest Aunt May you will ever see, Marissa Tomei. Woo! Yes.
Really? They're redoing that? Cool.
Making a massive debut, please welcome Zendaya. You gotta love Flash Thompson. Tony Revolori. Woo!
That's my boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the director of Spider-Man Homecoming, John Watts. Watts! All right, well, the first question is really to go to the other side of the panel here. This one is for Amy Pascal and Kevin Feige. First question really is, how excited are you to finally bring Spider-Man into the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
It was one of a handful of, well, this will never be possible, but let's dream about it moments at Marvel Studios. And then we're sitting in front of all of you nice people in orange chairs today, having made the movie, is unbelievable. Yeah, it's incredible.
It is incredible. It happened, started with a lunch between me and Kevin, and I can't believe we're here now. It's pretty exciting.
Well, listen, John Watts, the biggest challenge for Spider-Man Homecoming was to not only make a fresh, standalone Spider-Man movie, but one that does fit in with the MCU, and one that also really does capture a unique tone that is delightful and hilarious. So what were some of the challenges in capturing all those things while staying true to the legacy of Spider-Man?
Well, I just try to approach it as the biggest fan possible, and the opportunity to finally put Spider-Man where he belongs in the Marvel Universe, really, if anything, just opened up the doors to so many new kinds of stories that we could tell. So if anything, I felt like we were being as true as possible as anyone has ever been able to be about Spider-Man and how he fits into this world.
Tom Holland. Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Hey!
Tom
Holland!
Hey.
Spider-Man.
Listen, Tom Holland. Little secret here, Tom. With great power comes great responsibility.
It does, yeah, it really does.
What kind of responsibility did you feel playing a character that just everybody loves, one that means so much to so many people?
I think the thing I had to remind myself most when I first took on this character was that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man had such a huge impact on me as a kid. He was my role model growing up. He was my favorite character. So I had to keep reminding myself that I'm going to have that same impact on kids of the younger generation. So I really wanted to, do them proud and to be a solid role model for them, and also just make a young, fresh version of a character we know and love so well.
Well, I mean, if you must have had a lot of fun making it, because the fun that you project on the screen, it's infectious.
Thank you. Well, the question that John and I asked ourselves is, if you gave a 15-year-old superpowers, he would have the time of his life. And when I made this movie, I had the time of my life. So it really sort of comes across on screen.
You know what else looks like you had the time of your life doing? Sparring with this guy, Robert Downey Jr.
The man himself. Woo! In case you didn't know.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah?
I remember the beginning of May. In the beginning of May in 2008,
Yes, sir.
we were witness to the very first movie in the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the first Iron Man. So that kind of makes you, like I introduced you, the godfather of the MCU.
Right.
Now, the question is, it's like, how do you feel about the way the MCU has not only evolved, but expanded to now include the likes of Spider-Man?
I think it's well, first of all, I'm stoked that they got my memo about the screening room. I wanted it designed like a old Miami Dolphins jersey. So that worked out. But Amy and them had done, these iterations of Spider-Man previous, and then they really should do like one of those breakdown, kind of boring to read, but somewhat important books about really all the miracles that had to happen for us to be sitting here today. And now I just feel like, hey, we're in like a classy hotel, and like people are clapping, and this turned out so well, though. I mean, it really always comes down to, as Kevin says, you got to see the movie and love it. And I was in it a little bit, and I saw it, and I honestly loved it. And I think that's what's exciting, is they're still really, working.
Michael
We saw
Keaton.
these folks.
Yes. Michael Keaton. All right. I mean, that's right. Yes. The thing about Toombs, about the Vulture in this film, is that his motives are plausible. They're grounded. I mean, his family is everything to him, and he will do anything to protect his family. What was your impression of when you first you signed on for this movie and you just saw how grounded and plausible the motives were compared to like other villains?
I got it.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I'm sorry, but I do know what I mean. I thought it was inventive and really an interesting way to go. I mean, I'm not. I've said this publicly before, so this is not news to, I guess, anybody. But I'm not really familiar with a lot of the lore. Dig it? So for me, I was trying to catch up. I just thought the simplicity of making this person approachable, and I mean, it's timely. Let's not talk about why it's timely for the because I want to blow my brains out. But it's timely, and
He's only threatening his own life right now. Don't worry about
Make that clear. Yeah.
but I thought that was a really unique approach and kind of obvious when you think of it. To make this person someone who's approachable and has a legitimate gripe and a legitimate argument. And I thought it was really well written, to simplify things. And it was fun. It was a fun gig.
Marissa Tomei? Seems like a fun gig for you as well. Like when you look at the comics and the other films and you look at the character of Aunt May, I mean, she's very different. So when you saw where they were going with the character, like the tone they were trying to capture, the look, like what was your take on playing Aunt May as completely different from what we've known for the last 60 years of the character?
Well, I mean, I didn't really know what Aunt May looked like until after I signed up. I couldn't understand why my agents kept going, she's going to be sexy. And I'm like, stop trying to coddle me. Like, what are you going to pander to me and try to, make me feel, oh, you mean in contrast to another way to go. But these guys had the vision of how it was going to be revamped and everyone was going to be younger. And she's his aunt by marriage, so she could really be any age at all.
Wow. Jacob.
Yes.
Yes. Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob!
Hi. Hello.
First of all,
hi.
listen to this applause here. What does it mean to you to have your character Ned and the interplay with Peter be so received by people that it really brings a new dynamic to the character?
I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. I knew this was gonna happen. Yeah, no. Sorry. No, that was awful. Tom and I really enjoy each other. The cast, we really enjoy each other, and so, it was easy to translate that into what you guys saw. And I mean, I love them. I love all of them so much, and it's easy to be around them, and it's easy to make the best things with them.
Awesome. Zendaya, to make such a big film like this, not just a movie, but a movie on this scale, what was that like for you?
It was incredible. I mean, I've done a lot of things in my little career so far, but this is my first big movie, so I was terrified, and I suppressed it very well. But it's amazing to be here, and I think all of us still feel like it's a bit of a dream, And I don't know when it's gonna feel real, but it definitely doesn't feel real right now. And I don't mind living in this dream. I think I enjoy it here, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
When the opening numbers come in, it gets real.
Oh, yeah.
It can be huge.
There you go.
Laura, how much were you aware of the character of Spider-Man, and why do you think that of all the superheroes, that Spider-Man is sort of the one that really does mean the most to the most people?
Because I think he's the most relatable. We all know what it's like to grow up and be in high school and go through growing pains and have awkward moments talking to someone you have a crush on. You know, it's harder to connect with these superheroes that are completely outside of our world, I think. But Spider-Man is first and foremost Peter Parker, who everyone can relate to.
You know, I want to ask John, too, that you're keeping to the mythology with regards to, like, you know, there's a scene that's right out of Amazing Spider-Man number 33, To Die a Hero. The character of Ned Leeds. You know what happens to Ned Leeds in the comics, right?
Yes, I do, all too well.
Uh-huh, okay.
No, but I want that to happen.
Like the costume, his costume it's souped up. It's like an Iron Man costume unto itself. So what were the challenges, John, to keep it true to mythology in some ways while evolving things in such a way that it makes it sense for 2017?
Well, I got kicked off really nicely by what the Russo brothers did in Civil War. You know, they set up this really great premise that Peter Parker is going to get plucked out of obscurity by Tony Stark, given this really high-tech suit and taken on a crazy adventure, and then just drop back into his regular life without, you know, another thought. So to me, that was just everything that you're saying. Like, the challenge for me was just like an opportunity. You know, if Tony Stark built a Spider-Man suit, what could it do? That could be so amazing. There's a little bit of a precedent in the comics with the Iron Spider suit that gets built. So we use that as sort of the inspiration for, you know, all the bells and whistles that Tony would put into this thing.
Great. Let's open it up to the audience. I know you all got questions. Let's go right here first. Great. All right. Wait for the mic.
Tom, congratulations.
Thank you very
Stephen
much.
Schaefer, Boston Herald. This is obviously a life-changing role for you. Can you talk about your experience from The Impossible, where everybody sort of first discovered you and you were just astounding, and to get to this place, what you've been doing and what you've been looking at with your life?
I've been so lucky in my career. I feel like I've been in the right place at the right time at every turn. I've been so lucky that I've got to work with who I would consider to be the best of the best and learn from people, and every movie has been a very different experience for me, and I've been able to play different characters without having to go too far. Now that I'm sort of finding myself a little bit, I'm looking to go a little bit further. No, I mean, this job, since day one, has been a roller coaster. It's the job that keeps on giving. It has never ceased to amaze me. The fact that I'm here with these guys promoting this movie is insane, and it, like Zendaya said, does not feel real in any way possible. I read a comic yesterday which is based off of my face. I mean, what the hell? So, nothing has sunk in. This really feels like I'm about to wake up and be very disappointed. But I'm very happy here, and I can't wait for you guys to see the movie.
Right there.
Hi, my question is for Robert. So when we interviewed Tom and Jacob last fall, I asked them if they could take anything from the set, what would it be? And
Okay, okay.
We all know what Jacob said.
Tom said that he would take your Audi, and Jacob said that he would take your watch. How do you feel about that?
I'm sorry, which Audi, which one?
Oh, and Marissa Tomei. And so I'm wondering, how do you feel about that?
Jacob was like, I'd take Marissa Tomei.
Let's just.
This is a print interview. It doesn't
Okay,
read
let's just
that
get
way.
back to the question.
Jacob!
What would you take from the set?
From the set. Well, I mean, honestly, you know what? You know why I think this really works? There's something about the initial breaking the story and the concept. But whatever the mood board was for this movie, with all those different tones and all, there was just, it was creatively inspired. I mean, it's really an inspired reinvention of this. And what I would take is that moment where the creatives actually broke this story and said, I think that's it. Because that's ultimately what you wind up, if it's executed correctly, that's what you see on the screen, and that's why I love movies. That's why I'm a huge fan of movies, and I always wonder how did they figure this out to entertain me this well? The mood board.
I love her, yeah. The mood board, the mood board. I'm like, his car and his watch, yeah.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for so much fun at this film. My question is for Mr. Keaton and Mr. Downey, and as well as the younger members of the cast. Mr. Keaton and Mr. Downey are in the top echelon of superhero movies ever. And you've been under a lot of, that comes with media scrutiny and fan love, maybe not so much fan love. You've kind of been through it all as huge comic book characters. What do you think, or what words of wisdom would you give to this young cast who is going to have a huge spotlight on them once this movie drops and everyone sees how brilliant it is? And also, for the younger members, did you have a question for Mr. Keaton and Mr. Downey about their experience as superheroes?
First of all, I'd like to say, why didn't you call me Mr. Keaton? Just occurred to me that. Robert, what do you think?
It's a rough call, and we were talking about this just before. It's like every day you wake up, everybody's even. All of this status or experience, it's all kind of a projection. And I think that if and I know Michael's like this, and I think honestly, to me, what really makes the movie work is that scene in Act 3 where you actually realize how high the stakes are with them, and the car, and the thing, and I think that was grounded by a master. And but I also think it's that thing you just have to, you never know. It really just comes down to, like, does John like us? Does he think we know what we're doing? Every time, it doesn't matter. You're like, I established this role. Yeah, now, can we try one that works next time? What did you just say? Oh, he's right, It's all about having your feet on the ground and realizing that you always start at 0 MPH every day.
Yeah. In terms of what I'd say to I don't have anything to say. I'm listening to what these people are saying, and it's impressive. Honestly, it is impressive. This is sounds to me so far, I mean, let's keep our eye on them, but so far, like some pretty sane folks.
I have a question for Tony. Your work going from working with a director like Wes Anderson to John Watts on one film that's one level in terms of production to another. What's he whispering to you? What was it like on going to work on a film that's on such a big scale and with a character that is so beloved around the world?
What number did you say again? No, it's wonderful working with someone like Wes. He's amazing and fantastic. Working with on a project like this is on a different level because you have so many fans and people who work so hard and put so much effort into it. You can't help but want to do a good job, and I'm very fortunate to be a part of it with a great cast. And thank you to John, Amy, and Kevin for casting a 5'8" brown guy to play a 6'2" blonde, blue-eyed guy. So yeah, thank you.
Right there. Yes.
Hi. This one's for Tony. How does it feel to represent the Latino community in such a well-known comic book franchise?
It's wonderful. I think the fact that when you see the film, there's not a single line of exposition as to explain why I look the way I look, and I think that's wonderful. That I just am in the movie. It's not about being a certain race. It's not about doing anything. And I think that's the kind of diversity we need in Hollywood now.
Yep.
Right in the back.
Hi, I'm DJ Ben Amin from Fan Bros, and this is kind of a question for the producers and for the cast. There's been a lot of buzzwords about inclusion and diversity lately, and this cast has like some of the most inclusive and diverse, and just like race change, gender change, characters, everyone has switched. How did you deal with this, and what was the inspiration for this?
I would say the inspiration for it was reality.
Amen. Amen.
A last resort.
One sec. Great question. Coming right back up here in the front.
Thanks. Hi, KB from Black Girl Nerds. So I just have a question for Tom and John, actually. What challenges would you like to see Spider-Man overcome in the next installment or even in, Avengers Infinity Wars?
I'm still getting over the first one. I haven't thought about the second one yet.
Honestly, I mean, I really try to think about this stuff just one movie at a time, but I do feel like now that Spider-Man is a part of this big, crazy universe, we can definitely tell some new stories, that's for sure.
Any tease there? No. course not. Right here.
Not with Kevin Feige here.
Hi, so my question is for Tom and Robert. How would you say that Spider-Man's relationship with Tony Stark has evolved since Civil War?
I think the relationship between the two of us is more interesting from your point of view because you suddenly have someone to think about other than Tony Stark, you know? He really cares about Peter, and one of the reasons why he doesn't really want Peter to become an Avenger is because he doesn't want the responsibility of something happening to Peter on his conscience. So it's a nice sort of back and forth of me saying, look, I'm powerful enough to be an Avenger, and him saying, but you're not ready to be an Avenger. So it's a fun back and forth. It's like a big brother, little brother, dad, son type situation.
Right back there, yes.
Hi, this is for everyone, but the younger cast in particular. This is the first teenage Spider-Man we get to see for an entire movie. What do you hope that ordinary teenagers take away from his experience in the film, and all the characters' experience in the film, who aren't superheroes? But what do you hope they take? What lesson do they learn from watching this teen superhero?
Jacob, what's your message for the teens?
Our message is that you don't have to be the jock and you don't have to be the cool person in high school to be yourself. You know, it's the coolest version of yourself is yourself. And we're like nerds and we love to be smart, and that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with being yourself.
Yeah, you don't have to apologize for who you are, right? Is this on? Yeah, I think we've been talking about a lot. Just everyone in this movie is kind of so different, but genuinely kind of themselves. Like especially, Zendaya's character, who is very different, but not ashamed of it. Same with Liz and Ned and Flash. Everybody. I think if teenagers can take that away, that'd be great.
I have a question for you. Now, like Zendaya, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Zendaya. The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club. Ali Sheedy.
Yeah.
How much were you inspired?
Definitely inspiration there. I mean, I remember, because I didn't really know what kind of character I was playing until I showed up, because everything's kind of top secret, you know what I'm saying? So I read the script, and I was like, okay, she's interesting. All right, this is going to be fun. And then I met with John, and he had so many different, references, and that was definitely one of them. And just kind of making that distinct character, making somebody that I think was different, and embracing the weird, kind of like we've been talking about, like young people, it's okay to be weird. That is okay, and it's okay to be exactly who you are. And if you make things awkward and uncomfortable, as long as you cool, you know what I mean? That's the most important thing, you know? So I love that she's outspoken. I love that she says what everybody's thinking, but she just doesn't care, you know? So I think that a lot of young people should have that a little bit more. So it was fun playing that dry, kind of version of myself, really. So.
Who's got the mic?
Here, I believe.
Yes, you. Go ahead.
Okay. Jordan Calhoun, Black Nerd Problems. We talked a lot about the tone of the film. Yeah, check it out. We talked about the tone of the film and how it's an hilarious comedy. So I was interested, which one of you guys was the biggest clown offset? And also, second question for Robert Downey Jr. How does it feel portraying Tony Stark as the connective tissue across so many different Marvel films? We've seen Tony's evolution through a lot of different films. So how does it feel being the mutual thread through a lot of the universe?
Okay, I already forgot the first question because I'm
Biggest clown.
What was
Biggest
the first
clown.
question for them? Oh, who's clown?
Jacob was
Definitely Jacob. I would say Jacob.
Okay, I don't think this is a good interview right now.
The amazing thing about Jacob is he wrapped on the movie. He finished filming. He was done with his part of the film, and he just moved in with me.
Yeah.
I was like,
Okay,
Jacob,
okay.
go home. And he lived with me and my best mate for like 6 weeks.
You're
Came to work every day.
Okay, and you're talking as if you didn't want me there. You obviously
we
wanted
did want
me.
you there for sure.
When did you guys realize that you were best friends?
Yeah. And then we fell in love.
It's been great ever since. Don't worry about it.
Connective tissue, yeah. Bringing it all together. What happens is things are presented to me that are really well thought out by folks who have been doing this correctly for a long time, and I go like, check, and then attempt to take the credit in press conferences. So I'm holding this whole thing together. It's obvious.
Hi,
Black
good
Nerd
morning.
Problems. Check it out. Dude, you just made my day.
Hi, this question is for Tom. Hi.
I understand you have a dance and an acrobatic background, so can you talk about that and then how that played into doing your stunts and how did you master hanging upside down?
Yeah, you can't really master hanging upside down. That's not something I've been prepared for. Yeah, my dancing and gymnastics background was so helpful to this project because we were able to do things as Peter Parker that they probably hadn't been able to do in the past. But that said, sometimes they would overestimate my skill set. John would be like, "Can you just backflip off that wall and land on that beam?" I'm like, "No, John, I can't do that. I'm not that good, dude."
It's hard to, you forget that you're not actually Spider-Man. So
Yeah.
just climb up the
that
wall.
I'm like, "I can't do that, John."
Got a question back here.
Hey guys, Brandon Davis, comicbook.com. Robert, you've been with the MCU since its earliest days. We have Tom coming in at 20 years old. Wondering, does this at all feel like maybe like a passing of the torch for Spider-Man to maybe be what we just talked about with Tony being the connective tissue, or do you want to stick around forever?
Or whatever. I've been semi-retired since, again, the first weekend that Iron Man 1 opened. You never. It's the great thing about life is it is so much. Good things happen, and I'll speak for myself. You get inflated, and then you think, "Oh my God, I've created everything that's going my way." And then things happen where you go, "All right, there's a little evidence to the contrary." And at this point, you go back to you just like It's nice to be on this call sheet. So as you can see, I've changed dramatically, and I'm an extremely humble individual.
Right here, in the red.
Oh, hi, good morning. Marta for Della's Jubilation, a blogger, not a real reporter.
Thanks for clarifying that.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. My question is actually for the producers. As a long-time Queens resident, I was wondering if it's possible in the next installments to get some, real action in Queens maybe this time around, like actual Queens? With
We love to. John?
Okay.
Sure.
See how simple?
Like whereabouts specifically?
She's like apartment 2.
Sunnyside?
Like Corona, Flushing Meadow Park.
Okay.
I mean, last time that globe got, blown up was by
Yeah.
Will Smith in Black, Men in Black, right? So
No,
if you realize,
actually, that's where the Stark
Iron Man
Expo
2.
is in Iron Man 2, remember?
right. So, like
Yeah,
I
we
said,
shot a few places
Reese
there.
Park is great.
This is starting to feel like a game show.
Reese Park is great. There's
All right.
Kew Gardens, and the court steps are awesome. So maybe you look into that for next time
As
around.
much Queens as possible, for sure.
Right here.
In terms of getting action in Queens, I think, Robert, you and I have gotten some action in Queens. I think. 2001, I think.
Yeah, we kept it flat there for a while. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap.
Oh my God.
What role models?
I know. That is so
Any other
terrible.
messages
I
for
live
the
in
teens?
So, so my question is for Mr. Keaton. Michael, you played the biggest of heroes, and you've now played the
Don't you
biggest of
forget it.
supervillains. So
I know. I'm sorry. I played
you
the-
played the biggest of superheroes,
Yes, yes.
and now you played the biggest of supervillains.
Yes.
Which did you prefer?
They're both fun. I think actors tend to, be drawn toward not necessarily villainous. Well, yeah, probably villainous characters. I mean, it's cliched, but it kind of tends to be often true that when you want to delve into the dark side, it just gets interesting. That's all. Usually because the reality is the lead or hero. Sometimes, by the nature of the piece, has to be not one-dimensional, but it has to represent a thing very strongly. Whereas the supporting actors or character actors often they're more dimensional. Without going into this and doing some sort of bullshit actor talk, but it tends to be true. And a lot of times, I would think everyone or most of us have had an experience where you're playing one role and you're looking at some of those minor roles and you're thinking, oh man, I'd like to have a bite of that, because it's just so much fun. And I've been fortunate. I've been, able to play a lot of different things, little tiny parts, and big parts. They're both fun. They're both different. You know, it's more iconic, and you can make a hell of a lot more dough being the big lead guy. But you know, they're both fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our press conference for Spider-Man Homecoming. The movie opens July 7th. Let's hear it. Everybody. Reminder, please stay seated while